So am I going to use the Z6 forever? No, I'm really happy with the Z6. The Z6 also came with some surprises. So one thing that I'm not so happy with the Z6 This is my new Nikon Z6. I absolutely love it. I have it since 10 days or so. Had enough time to get used to its functions, although it's very easy for me as a long-term Nikon user. The menu structure, everything is the same. It just has a lot of new functions that my old camera didn't have. And today is the first day I'm taking it out for a longer ride. We're here to shoot a beautiful waterfall, which is right over there. We're going to do a lot of long exposures, many cool shots, rocks, water. It's gonna be great. And I'm really looking forward using this camera the first time out in the field. So far I was using a Nikon D5200, which is a good camera. I got it in 2012, so almost 8 years ago. It's an entry-level camera, but I was a beginner in 2012 when I started photographing, and so it was more than enough. I did good pictures with that camera. Let me show you some of them right now. And I use it a lot, landscape, action. I did a lot of shots with it, but now I reached some limitations, and that's why I decided to upgrade. I was thinking which camera to get, so either it was the Z6 or the D780, which is a DSLR, which has some advantages. In the end, I voted for the Z6, and I absolutely love it. It's a great camera. And before I tell you why I upgraded from the D5200, let's at first take some cool shots. Why did I upgrade from the D5200 to the Z6? Well, mainly for three reasons. Number one is I needed better low light performance, especially when I did action shots of Cedric, or sometimes I have to crank up the ISO for long exposures. The D5200 has a 24 megapixel sensor, but it's the APS-C sensor, so the pixels are very dense, and so the noise performance is not very good. And I really wanted to improve on that. That was one point. Second point is I needed better autofocus for video. What the Z6 can do with autofocus is incredible. It's just like smooth focus in out, you don't even realize it's focusing. While the D5200, as most Nikon cameras, most older Nikon cameras, is always focus hunting. Focus front, back, and then finally find it. So this is nothing you can use for video. That's okay for stills, but it's not okay for video. And since I do a lot of video, especially for Cedric's YouTube channel, which you should check out if you're German, I needed a better performance here. And third point is I was using full frame lenses on my D5200, but with the crop sensor, of course, I couldn't use the full extent of it. So and sometimes in landscape photography you want to have a wider view. So I have a 16 to 35 Nikon lens, which on the APS-C sensor is 24 to something. Actually same as here on the Z6, I have a 24 to 70. So actually I'm at the same angle now. But if I get the FTC adapter and put on my 16 to 35, I have a much wider view. And this is what I was looking for, and I will get the FTC adapter soon, and then I will be more flexible. So am I going to use the Z6 forever? No, or maybe no, I'm not sure yet. So one thing that I'm not so happy with the Z6 is the electrical viewfinder, the EVF. Especially when I do action shots with Cedric. What I usually do, I throw a frisbee and then I get the viewfinder to my eye quickly. But until I can see something through this viewfinder, it takes quite some time. There's a little delay. And also when you do burst shots, you see the shot, and it feels like losing track of the scene. I will give it more tries, especially when I have the FTC adapter on and I get my zoom lens on it. Let's try if then it's all good. If not, I'll keep the D5200 with my Tamron 70 to 300 just for the use case of taking action shots of Cedric. Best of both worlds. I'm really happy with the Z6. So everything I expected from it came true. It has a fantastic low light performance, much better than my D5200. The colors I get out from it are great. I didn't even know this. It's possible to have a difference, but this is awesome. The autofocus is smooth in video, and in stills it's really fast. If you just tip the trigger and it's focused, it's unbelievable. And one of the best things is the Z lens. So I have the 24 to 74 on it, and it's incredibly sharp. It's an unbelievable good lens. So everything you heard about the Z lenses is true. So I don't regret it. I'm very happy, especially because I got it at a really cheap price. But the best thing about the Z6 is its in-body stabilization system. It's phenomenal. It's unbelievable. I can shoot 1/10 of a second out of the hand without tripod or anything. It's improving my photography so much because I don't have to crank up the ISO all the time. I still can go with ISO 100 and just use a longer shutter speed, and still my images are sharp. So that's a real improvement compared to the D5200, and I can really recommend it. The Z6 also came with some surprises, and they were pleasant surprises. Number one is the touchscreen. I never thought I need a touchscreen, but once I had it, I don't want to miss it. It's responsive. It's like an iPhone touchscreen. You can pinch to zoom. You can easily select a lot of settings, which in my D5200 I had to dial through the menu system. Now I can just directly select it. And as I said, it's responsive. It's like an iPhone. It's awesome. I don't want to miss it. Second point that's really great is the user settings here on the program selector. So U1 to U3, I can store, depending on what I want to photograph, my user settings. For example, U1 I have configured for landscape, no auto ISO, aperture 11 pre-selected. I have the depth of field control on the function, on one of the function keys. So everything I need for landscape photography is automatically selected when I choose U1. But when for example, when I choose U2, that's my action photography setting. I have open aperture, auto ISO, high shutter speed pre-selected. Of course I can change it, but it's pre-selected. And so I don't have to worry about it anymore. And if I switch to video here, then also these settings are memorized. So I don't interfere between camera and video settings. That's really cool. And third thing, there was a surprise, well, not really a surprise, is the autofocus performance. It's fast, it's reliable, it's awesome. I don't want to miss it. Just did another shot on the way back to the car of this beautiful river and the mountains in the background. Another long exposure, last shot for today. Now I go home. I hope you liked the video. If so, give me a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and never forget, it's not only about the pictures, it's about being out there. See you next time. Bye bye. Because then I can nochmal. But the best thing, nochmal, it's phenomenal. Nochmal. But the best thing about the, nochmal. So the Z6 also came with some... Nochmal? The Z6 also came with...